from overlanding in your stock rig to full-on LS-powered 2 buggies on stickies. This is the Total Off-Road Podcast. You're listening to episode 4 with me and Ian.
We've made it to 4. We've made it so far.
We've made it.
Yep.
And we've got Michael here with us.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey.
He's the producer. He's
Kinda.
He's extra fancy today. He's got headphones.
Yep. So we're gonna start this out with a couple notes. We got some notes. Couple notes.
First thing on the notes is in the last episode, Derek Lassini said that he would not recommend the rim trail. And he contacted me. He's like, that's not what I really meant to say. What I meant to say was I wouldn't recommend doing the rim trail by yourself the first time. So he wanted to correct that. And what else we got on there?
The other thing we got to talk about, we got a nice shout out from Mike and Max's podcast.
We did.
Was that last week?
The 23rd. It was the week before.
Yep. So it was great. It was awesome. It was kind of
was.
fun listening to people talk about how awesome our stuff was. The only thing that we had issue with is that we would like credit for being in Illinois.
Yeah.
We pay our taxes, all of them.
All of them.
And we would like to be, at least get credit for paying all our taxes. So I don't know where we came off that we sound like people from Michigan, because I don't know if we know people from Michigan.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's from me talking to them about the Offroad Garage podcast. They knew that we were Midwestern, but they didn't know where.
Yeah, but Michigan's like Canada.
Well, apparently you guys have Michigan accents.
Do we sound like Michigonians?
Probably. I mean, we don't sound. I don't feel like we sound a lot different than Jason and Jim on the Offroad Garage podcast.
Are they from Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we do know somebody from Michigan.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah. The other podcasters.
Michigans.
Can't have
Michigonians.
can't have like 4 podcasts in one state. So
No.
Yeah.
That's why we.
Unless you're California, in which case you get to have all of the podcasts.
The rules, go out the window when it comes to California. So.
And this is the first podcast ever from Illinois, right, guys? Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the data here.
It's the best. It is the best podcast for
The
Illinois.
number one
Oh,
podcast in Illinois, off-road. The number one off-road podcast in Illinois.
That's what it is.
Also the fastest growing.
Facts available upon request, and
Yeah.
we will just get those to you in the
Send
mail.
those right to you.
Right in the mail. We'll put it in the
69
mail.
calories.
Free check included. So
What else you
that's, I think that's about all we got for that.
That's the startup.
We're going to talk about some craft beer. We're going to start off. We got a nice craft beer today. We like to talk
Can't
about craft
forget the
beer.
craft beer.
Yep. So what are we drinking today, Steve?
We are drinking Oscar Blues Death by Coconut, an Irish style porter. What do you think of it?
I think it's pretty good. I've had it
You've
before.
had it before, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Mike, have you had it before?
I'm not sure if I had it when we were up at Oscar Blues.
I did not have it at Oscar Blues.
Down at Oscar Blues? No, I don't think
It's
so.
up for us.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty. Definitely coconut forward and not
Coconut
too high.
forward.
Just saying. And not too high ABV. You could almost session this.
It's almost sessionable.
Almost.
Almost. Depends on how you want your session to end.
No guarantees at the end of the show. Yeah.
So, yep, we're drinking this a little craft beer on this one because it's delicious. And it is the season for porters, in my opinion.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's getting colder.
Yep.
And who doesn't want a nice... It's not that heavy. It drinks more like an ale.
I think
like
that's
a-
probably
like-
part of that low ABV.
Yeah, part of
Lower
the
ABV.
Yeah,
I should
and then
say
also...
5.6.
Also, we've been drinking a lot of barrel-aged goodness lately.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anything else but that is less.
Correction, 6.5, not 5.6. It's a little higher than I
Did
thought.
I say 6.5?
Mike screwed it up.
I screwed it
Oh,
up.
geez.
Sorry.
Yeah, 5.6 would be
It's on the note sheet. I mean, damn.
It's not facing me.
Read. You can't read left, like sideways?
Who interviewed this guy? We're supposed to do some kind of job
Fucking-
screen.
just mute his channel.
Oh man, shaming Christmas.
Cut him out of here. He doesn't even get to be part of this party anymore.
He gone.
So, yeah, I'm drinking this little delicious beer out of all of Ian's New Holland glasses because apparently he owns stock in their glassware.
Sponsors needed.
Sponsors needed.
Will work for beer.
Yeah, Ian will literally
Oh,
shout out
man.
New Holland anytime.
I think you could
Dragons
put just
off.
about anything in a bourbon barrel, and I'd probably drink it.
Yeah, I'm right there.
I
with you.
mean,
pretty much. Yeah.
I'd like to have some kind of dignity, but I don't think I would in that situation.
Horse piss in a bourbon barrel.
I think I'd try to.
It's
It'd be the best horse piss you've ever drank.
That's probably true.
Yeah. I mean,
This horse piss tastes like bourbon.
if you're gonna have it, you might as well do it right, I suppose. I mean, but oh boy,
That's
man.
great.
oh good times.
Hey,
So
it's 2020.
it is 2020.
It is a new year.
Hope everybody had a good Christmas, New Year,
Yeah.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, I think that's all of them.
You say Kwanzaa or Kwanzaa?
Kwanzaa? all of the above. I think we could.
Festivus.
Festivus.
Don't forget that one.
Oh, it did have a good Festivus.
Hopefully you guys got some cool. Yeah, we had a good Festivus.
For sure.
All the beer.
Oh, it was good too. Yeah, we stayed out there for. That was a lot of good beer.
Yeah, Triptych doesn't mess around when it comes to Festivus, or just in beer in general.
Money.
Beer, period. They do good work. So
we're gonna have lots of lulls in this episode because we're just sitting here sipping on this Oscar Blue. It's like, how could you not? I mean,
we're doing podcast research.
Podcasteries.
That's pretty much work. We're working, so don't be mad.
Yeah.
So there was a thing that happened. Let's see, back in November, and I think we talked about it in your intro episode a little bit. That the plan was to get the low key XJ done.
And I failed all of you followers and listeners. I told them that I was going to post up on the Instagram page. If you guys missed the story, I apologize. I was supposed to post up on the 24th a picture of it being done, which it wasn't. So
couldn't really post it up then.
Fail, not fail.
Yeah, I consider that a job not done. You know, perfect.
Not finished. Can't post a finished photo.
Exactly.
And so I did end up posting one up there of it sitting on the trailer in the driveway. That was on the 1st. It did finally come out of the shed.
It went on the trailer.
After much heartache.
And then it sounds like a lot of things happened.
It was a long day.
We had an interesting first.
We did.
Got to start the year off with a bang.
If this is how 2020 is going to go down, I'm going to go take a big dose of Comadose and take a nap.
And next week, Steve will be gone from the podcast. He will be in a coma.
He's here.
You guys in 360 days.
Oh, boy. Sounds good. Ring in the next year.
So let's start it off at the top. Let's start where you committed to the 4x Fools which is a local off-road club that we're all part of, does a hangover run every year. It's a very good run, and it's a rain, snow, sleet, shine, doesn't matter. There've been good hangover or not, still drunk, whatever whatever you want to do.
Might get an Uber to get there, but
Uber your way to the trail. It's probably cheaper than wheeling at the trail.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know,
this
Uber your way there. And
not if you Uber from here, it's not.
No, you don't think so?
Well, if you get a Dewey, I guess it is.
If you get a Dewey or you KO your trail rig, I mean,
for sure.
Either way, so we got a commitment. We got a commitment about the end of November.
It was about Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I decided that I was like, okay, I think I can get this thing wrapped up and done in order to go to the hangover run. And so I took it over to Mike's, and when I got to, I took it over to Mike's place and put it in the shop, which you guys know about that. He was nice enough to let me use his shop and all of his tools and front the power bill.
I'm a hell of a nice guy.
He didn't go out there and work on it for you, though. That's the only thing. I mean,
not for me, but with me.
He could have. But he could have let you go home, and he could have handled a couple things. I think
when I wasn't grinding, welding, doing noisy stuff, or like really dusty stuff, he was out there hanging out.
See,
moral support.
I'm giving you credit,
just a little bit.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He was more than kind. So I took it out there and started working on it. And as the days went, a couple days went by. In the first couple days, where's my notes here? Where'd it go? Who took it? Oh, is this it? This is not it. This is the first. See, I'm trying to get this all in order, but Ian seems to...
top.
Oh, it's the top.
Right
okay, it's right there.
All the way to the top.
Just can't read
I
Ian's.
did not do it wrong. I rewrote it. Might not be the best handwriting, but never graduated a professional handwriting
It's
expert.
mildly legible.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So tried to have notes so we can keep this moving along, and then look down. I'm like, that's not the sheet you wrote that on.
Public education happened. Yeah, I rewrote them real quick because it'd be a little nicer. And nicer means sloppier, but what do you do?
That's all right.
We're on a tight budget.
Yeah. So in the first couple days, I worked on the frame stiffeners. I pulled the back wheels off, welded on the frame stiffeners, got it done, and then we moved to the front. Got the front jacked up, put the new shock perches on there, and then I had to throw it all back together, take it out in the front to Mike's ditch there. Use it for a little flexing so I can figure out my measurements, make sure everything was right. Brought it back, did the front shocks and limit straps, got that done. Moved back to the rear of it, put the rear shock hoops on, and got the rear shocks kind of positioned. I had to put my new spring, not the perches, but the top plate for the spring, for the, what do you call that? The top plate that the U-bolts go through. The U-bolt plate.
The
U-bolt plate.
That's the guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So I put the U-bolt plate on there.
You figured it out.
You got it. I put the new U-bolt plates from Rough Stuff are on there that hold the shocks. That's why this is important.
Is that the one where it almost looks like a... Because I think GM
like a
made an
brass knuckle.
OEM...
It does kind of look like a brass knuckle because it's got 3 different locations for the shocks.
Because GM made one where it had like the shock would mount to the side of it.
Yeah.
But you couldn't... The Rough Stuff one has the bracket on the top.
Yeah, it's 2
Right,
brackets
dead
on the top
center.
that you weld into place.
Yep.
Yeah, and the shock bolts in double shear. So
Nice.
I put those on. Yep, that's nice.
Is
Did
that
lot of
a...
grinding?
So did that use a U-bolt still, or is that the bolt
No,
through
I
style
was
one?
stupid. I didn't trust my I didn't trust my weld ability and didn't know enough at the time when I ordered them, and I ordered just new perches and U-bolt plates. I wish I would have ordered U-bolt eliminators.
Let him
Steve,
learn.
I've seen your welding, and I feel like you're selling yourself short.
I would agree.
You know how it goes.
That's why I usually just throw the rig away and start from scratch. Duh.
That's why you tag life.
Exact life, exactly.
You didn't get to see that photo yet. So short thing here. We last night we had Christmas at my father-in-law's house for that side of the family.
Okay.
And he got me. I told him what battery thing I wanted. I wanted a little jump pack, the small jump packs that you keep in your vehicle.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, nice little thing.
Hell yeah.
I told him, I was like, hey, I want this one. He's like, okay, cool. He's like, I'm gonna do some research, and if I can find something better, I'll get you something better. Okay. So he did his research, found this other one, bought it. And I get it last night. I open the box, and the first thing I tear the wrapping paper off, and the first thing I see on the box is his logo. It says Attack Life. You gotta be kidding me. I have a picture here. I'll show you on my phone.
My marketing goals and dreams are wasted.
Shattered.
Somebody beat me to it.
Someone's way ahead of you.
I was branding that.
Sorry, guys.
That's great on the ears. Blow the speakers.
Just mute it.
It's gone. We'll just edit you out.
I tried to cover that. So anyway, we got the new spring plates on and did that, and then back and forth, constantly taking the fuel tank in and out because you put the fuel tank in to mock it, put the fuel tank in to move it, all that stuff, and then every time you're going to weld back there, take the fuel tank back out because,
It's advised, yeah.
well, it's not a big deal if I blow up or burn down my Jeep or hurt myself, not that big a deal, but the 91's sitting right behind me.
I mean,
I'd
I
be
feel like-
mildly upset.
Yeah.
I feel like if I didn't die, or even if I did die, Mike would not come to my funeral.
no. He might be the first one in line, if you know what I'm saying.
I'd come there with a book of matches.
I'll burn my shit down. I'll burn your shit down. So, yeah, so we, a lot of that, a lot of taking that in and out. And then,
Oh, that's amazing. Tack life.
after the front shocks and all that stuff was in, I had to work on my anti-wrap bar. And so I started working on that. And it's also a Rough Stuff anti-wrap bar. The problem I had with that, and I think I've mentioned this in the past podcast.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. Well, we might have hinted
had
at
to go
it.
through the floor.
Yep.
Yeah, so I had to make new brackets and everything else. And I think we talked about that, having the plates on the floor, and then the plates are going down to the unibody, the uniframe, so they go through the floor, and that's all welded together. So far, it sounds good. There's no pinging, popping, nothing sounds like it's moving too much, but I haven't really stood on it other than the burnouts.
All the burnouts.
All the burnouts.
We'll have to post a burnout video.
I gotta go air it down to, well, oh my god.
We'll get
Anyway.
there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Coming soon.
I gotta go do this. Damn it, I can't. Ah, Jesus. So, I got the anti-wrap done and wrapped up. Once I got it wrapped up, that was about Christmas Eve. So I had 10 days left, roughly.
Yep.
No.
Ballpark.
No, not whatever. Anyway, somewhere in there.
About a week.
About a week. A little over a week.
And then after Christmas, the day after Christmas, the 26th, I think it was, I started on the framing, the 1x1 framing in the rear for the sheet metal to enclose the entire rear end and cover the fuel tank, keep it, separate from the cabin, from the, from the interior.
I think it came out nice. I mean, I'm not a sheet metal guru by any means, nor I
can't
think any of us are,
believe-
but
yeah.
it's nice.
I can't believe I didn't take any pictures of it. We were at the Badlands. I opened it up to show like Derek and stuff, and I was looking at it and I was like, oh my god, it's so beautiful.
I thought you did a nice job.
Oh, dude, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's gorgeous for me. That's the first time doing that
Oh, yeah,
kind of
you're
extensive sheet metal.
You're not a body guy.
No.
But it looks damn nice,
But it
though.
did.
It turned out nice, and it's sealed for the most part. Like, it's pretty well. I shouldn't have to worry about it. I should be able to go out on trail, get muddy and stuff, go wash it, not have to worry about it leaking in the vehicle and things. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then got all that done. Started the sheet metal. Was wrapping up sheet metal, paintwork, bolt check, fluid check, and putting the seats back in on the 31st. So New Year's Eve, instead of going out to dinner with some friends and stuff and having a good time, I was working on the Jeep, just slaving away at that thing. I also, at this point, I had that cold.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You've been powering through that, but you've also,
God.
I mean, I think you're selling yourself short. We got a short little list of some highlights and stuff, but there's a lot of little stuff that you don't know. I mean, it's just like any, building any wheeling rig. There's a lot more finer details that take more time than just rattling off on a list. So,
the list, yeah.
I mean, to give you credit, you got a lot of crap done.
Oh, dude, that list is
very,
huge.
very
Did I
short
post the
amount of
list
time.
on the podcast page?
I think it was. It might have been your fail.
No, I didn't.
Fail.
Did you post it?
No, I didn't post
I don't
the
think
fail.
you posted the fail.
I did not post the fail.
I posted that on Loki.
Maybe that's what it was.
I posted it on the
There's
Loki
too many
story.
social media
I
pages.
posted up the first night, like, can you see the hidden word? And the next day I posted it
Man,
again.
I
And
tell you
then I
what.
followed that up with the hidden word.
I didn't get that. Like
No.
it was like I'm over
was
there
hidden.
looking at the phone. Like I'm like this guy's just screwing with me. Then once you see it, you're like, oh no, I get it.
Yeah.
Good times.
So the 31st, so I got the sheet metal. I got all the seal done in it. I had to put the, my cousin recommended what he wanted me to get, which was a SEM self-leveling high build seam sealer.
So is it like a 2-part thing that you have to mix?
Two-part. Yeah, and not to mix it. It mixes itself in the
Like
the tip.
tubes and
Sorry. There's a tip about this long on it, and that tip does like this. It zigzags in itself.
that's kind of wild.
You'd have to see it to understand it. It looks like a puzzle. It looks like a maze.
It
That's what
does.
looks like. But they're cool. And but it's 2-part, and he had the caulk gun basically with him already at home, or had one of his own at home. So he did that. He sent that to me, or he gave that to me. I mean, and I started doing that anyway. Got it all done. Got everything seam sealed up. Was happy with that result. It takes about 45 minutes to set up, and it's ready for paint. I sprayed it down with some high build or with some self etch primer for the raw metal.
Do you have to prep that before you put that seam sealer down?
Should have.
Okay, I don't know. I've never used it before.
Ideally, my cousin was telling me that ideally, if you wanted to for best adhesion, to take some 80 grit and rough all the metal up. Not hard, just rub it. Just basically scratch it.
I just didn't.
Just give it something extra to stick
because
to.
the only epoxy stuff like that I've ever used, it's like the window well to put glass back in. I know you got to use that. It's a special prep. It's like brake cleaner essentially. So I didn't know if you had to prep it chemically
I
or.
could have. He told me to rub it down with acetone, and then by the time I got started, I forgot. So
Oh, no.
Either way,
let's see how
I
long
mean,
that sticks.
it'll ride.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
If it doesn't
I
stick, I'll just strip it down
never
and
used
redo
it.
it. Yeah, so that was the 31st. I was working on that. I did my bolt check. I went through and tightened all the bolts on the front end and made sure everything was up to snuff there. I already knew that everything in the back end was already done, so that was good. And then I moved on to making sure that the anti-wrap was good, and then bolting in the passenger seat, making sure Mike had a seat belt for the first. That was always a good thing, right?
Yep, super
So,
important. I
in
needed
the-
it.
In the midst of this,
Safety first. That's
Yeah,
I mean that's
safety
the
third.
thing. I cannot stand people that do not wear a damn seatbelt on a trail.
I
Put
don't.
the damn seatbelt on, and you will not die.
a lot of times
You
I
don't wear one at all.
I wear one sometimes, but a lot of times on trail I won't be wearing one just because it's
Well, the last time I rolled my truck, I wasn't wearing one. I ended up in my passenger's seat, basically on top of him, and
Yeah.
thankfully he had the peace of mind to turn my truck off so it didn't start a boil.
Yep. Safety first.
Hey, bud, how you
seatbelt
doing?
it
Can you shut my truck off?
Buckle up, Buttercup. I got some stickers that say that actually.
Oh, do we want to do that?
I got all kinds of
Could
stickers.
that be a swag
I
sticker?
already got them.
Oh,
I got them from I don't know some Ultra 4 race team or something like that. That was their logo one year was Buckle Up Buttercup.
buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool sticker.
So I got all that stuff in there, and I had a cold, as I still do, but I was fighting through that. And Mike's shop's not heated, other than the kerosene heater I had running, and so it's probably 55, 50, 60 maybe degrees in the shop. I got all that buttoned up, and while I was doing that, I was thinking, I need to check and see if that thing will start, because I haven't started it since I put the fuel pump, or put the tank back in, and all that stuff, and welding, and all that. So I walk around to it, roll the key over, hit it, it cranks over about, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 rotations, and the battery starts getting weak. I was like, oh man, it was so close, I could hear it almost taking off. So I tried to jump start it with Snow Day, and that was unsuccessful. It did not want to do anything. It rolled over a few more times. It started to catch what sounded like it was catching fuel, like it was starting to rotate, but it wouldn't do it. And then I after that, it got so low, the battery got so low that the starter wouldn't turn anymore. I was like, great. It burned up a fucking starter. Like, really?
Had you ever had a starter issue with that? Like, I mean...
Not in recent past.
So it wasn't like I kind of saw this going bad?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was going to ask, but I felt like it was too soon to ask.
It was whipping over just fine up until...
It needed to.
Up until it stopped.
Yep.
So, I was getting very frustrated. It was about 9:30 at night. I wanted to go home and celebrate the New Year's with my wife. So, I packed everything up and went home. Get a text message from Michael the next morning, and he's like, hey, I went out to the shop and started looking at some stuff on Loki, and I found a blown 5 amp fuse for the ignition. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, I changed the fuse and nothing. And so I moved some relays around and nothing.
I had a suspicion it was probably the starter, but also by yourself, you can't both crank and tap or crank and check voltage. So
Yep, you can't do that. So I got my butt out of bed and headed over to the shop to go give Mike a hand with that and hopefully figure out what the problem was, diagnose something, and get an answer. So we get over there. I brought my battery charger with me so we could get some real heavy or some high amperage going to that battery to really give it a jump to start it. We get it started. He taps on it a couple times. I turn the key. It fires right up. And I'm like, cool. But it didn't fire up.
It cranked.
It cranked. Yes, thank you.
But it didn't. So it cranked, but no fire. You got to crank, but no fire.
So crank, and no fire. I'm like, well, that's weird. And I told Mike, I was like, last night when I was doing this, I didn't hear the fuel pump running. And that's kind of odd because the fuel pump is now in the vehicle. Like, you should hear it. Like, it's loud enough for that.
For sure.
So we started diagnosing that. And we did voltage checks with a multimeter and had no voltage going to it. And so we swapped some relays, checked some fuses, and then Mike's like, did you unplug anything in the back end that would have been related to the fuel pump? I was like, the fuel pump's plugged in. I was like, I unplugged the taillight harness at the far back, like back by the taillight.
That couldn't possibly have anything to do with the fuel pump.
Why the hell would that have? It's 4 feet behind where the fuel pump leaves the harness. Like where the fuel pump harness leaves the main harness.
Surely unrelated.
So I plug all that back in and we have voltage at the fuel pump all of a sudden.
It's funny how that works.
Interesting.
I mean, it's very simple, basic wiring,
Here
right?
is the trickery of it, though.
But
there's more.
There's more.
There's more.
We're not even a third through the page of
my God.
fuckery, so I mean, this is going to be good.
We got to get this going.
This is going to be good.
We got 20 minutes to finish this up.
We're going to go long.
I can't. I got to get moving.
Steve's in trouble.
Oh, boy. So anyway, we plugged it back in. It had voltage, but when we turned the key on, it still wouldn't run the fuel pump. I'm like, okay, well, surely the fuel pump and the starter didn't go bad at the exact same time. So Mike's like, well, we can tap on the fuel pump a little bit to see if it'll work. So he taps on the fuel pump while I cycle the key. Nothing. He's like, I said, well, can we just hotwire it? Can we just run power to the fuel pump real quick? He's like, yeah, if you got test leads and a battery. I told him, I was like, what about a 3S LiPo? He's like, you got a 3S LiPo? He's like, I got one inside. I don't know if it's charged. I was like, do we have like a plug? I was like, we need a Dean's plug with alligator clips on the other end of it.
Yep.
And he's like, that's genius.
Yeah,
I should go make one of those. And so he scats off to the house to go do that. And I'm sitting there looking at it. While I'm sitting there in the driver's compartment looking at it, I've noticed since I plugged in the harness back there, the taillight, I've plugged it back in and now we have voltage. But what I did notice is that at the same time that I did that, the heated rear window is showing that it's on. The indicator light on the dash showing that it's on.
Was it getting hot?
It's not on. No. The button's not pushed.
Okay.
And so my brain goes, okay, that means that we're robbing ground from that to supply something else.
Yep.
So something is missing. And so I walk back there and it dawns on me, I unbolted the body ground at the inside of the quarter panel just behind the seat belt, where the seat belt was at. Hooked that thing back up, instantly fuel pump. Ding. So I went back, so I got Mike. He comes back out. Okay, we get the fuel pump on now. Let's see if it'll start. If it'll start, we can continue on to doing the things that are necessary to get this thing shipped out on the trailer. Let's go forward then. This is about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
On the day of the trip. This is like day. Now let's reiterate that for the listeners.
Yeah, this is the first.
The day of the trip. Not the day before. The day of. That beats my record. I'm just saying that has beat the hell out. My shit is on the trailer. It's broke, but it's already on the trailer this day. I would have been done out of the house. I wouldn't have left the house that day.
The night before when the starter wouldn't work, Dexter and Jeremy were both like, just fix that on the trailer in the parking lot. Like, that's not a big deal. Just get a starter on the way over there. I'm like, well, I'd like to hear it run before we put it on the trailer.
Really?
And
a little hope at that point, I would think.
So plug the fuel pump back in. He come over. He beats on the starter again because yet it's still not fixed. We get to crank over. It fires right up. Everything's minty golden. All right, cool. Shut it off. Pull the starter. Send Mike out to go get a new starter. So Mike heads off. While he's off there, I cut the sheet metal on the fenders. I cut the sheet metal that go over the fuel tank, and then I mounted that piece, and I did all the foam seal for the fuel tank cover in the back, and got it prepped for rivets. And then he showed back up with the starter. I reinstalled that, fired it up, fire right up. He's like, cool, I'm gonna go hook up the trailer. He goes outside, hooks up the trailer, goes to hook up the trailer, comes back in, he's like, is there something funny with this tongue on this trailer? Because I can't seem to get it to latch. And I was like, shouldn't be a problem. He's like, it's 2-inch ball, right? I'm like, yeah, okay. Go out there. It's a known issue at the trailer. On that trailer's tongue, the little piece inside that slides forward to latch the ball, it can flip down. There's a notch in the side of the tongue that holds it up. It can flip down, and then it won't go at all. It's just like fitting straight up, and it's supposed to be sideways. Whoa. And I went out there, fixed that real quick. He hooks it up. I go back inside. I finish riveting down putting all the rivets in the gas tank cover to make it seal. He comes back in. He's like, well, I got the trailer hooked up, but we have no lights.
No tail, no brake, no turn, no nothing.
Nothing, not a damn thing. I was like, well, I've got the low keys almost done here. He's like, okay, I'll go see if I can diag the issue. He comes back, he's like, it's a ground issue. There's no ground of the trailer.
No ground at all. There's literally 3 wires, not 4.
Not 3. 3. That's a whole nother, I'm going to shoot somebody.
Next week on the podcast.
Steve goes to jail for murder.
Somebody expected that trailer ball to do some grounding.
Lots of grounding.
Yeah, so essentially it's supposed to ground through the ball.
Yeah, it used to work. But it used to be wired properly, but then it's been used several times since I've used it by other people, and they just take it and mess it up and bring it back and like, oh, it was goodish.
Do they know they have ruined their Christmas on the first day of the year? Like they're not getting a Christmas present this year for ruining your trailer on day 1 of the year. That's impressive.
Yeah, getting on the naughty list this early? Come on now.
First day you're on the naughty list. Doesn't matter what you do the rest of the year, you're done.
You're done.
Done.
So Mike goes out there and he's working on it. It's a 6-round plug, and he's like, well, I can't get the plug undone, so I can't get the wires ready. I can't do anything with this to make this work. I was like, hell with it. I said, just cut it off, and we'll just go to the store and get a 7-pin.
Yep.
He's like, all right. So he cut and stripped the wires, got it all prepped. We got low-key out in the driveway.
What time is this?
Oh, God, it's got to be like 10 or 11 somewhere there. Yeah.
A.M.
Were you planning on going to lunch? I'm like, are you just going to quit and go to lunch?
I had packed a lunch, but we took care of that.
Okay.
He's like, did you pack a lunch? I was like, no. He's like, but I did. I was like, oh, man, you're so good to me. So we...
Hoping to eat your lunch on the trail.
We got Loki on the trailer. We strapped it down. We grabbed all the things we need, tools and such. Got out of there, went to Walmart in Urbana, which is kind of on the way.
Took the back way because obviously no trailer lights.
No trailer lights. But it's daytime. In Illinois, that's legal.
Yeah, that's all right.
Dangerous, but legal.
It's safe enough.
It'd be fine. It's daytime. If you need brake lights to see a vehicle slowing down in the daytime, you don't need a license.
Most people don't need a license.
This is probably
That's the problem.
So we went to Walmart, picked up a 7-pin, went out in the parking lot, wired the 7-pin, plugged it in. 1 light. We have 1 light.
Which light you have? You have a left turn signal?
Out of 4, we have 1 light. We have a brake light. We have a right brake light and a right turn signal. And that's it. No running lights.
NASCAR for you. You got to turn right.
And so I told him, I was like, let's just go to the shop because it's on the way to where we're going anyway. We'll just go to the shop where it's out of the wind and we can diagnose this. I have everything there to fix it. He's like, all right, cool. So we jump back on the road, shoot to the shop with 1 light, get there, pull in there, diag it. One of the bulbs was bad. Put a new bulb in it. Still no lights.
Didn't we have brake on that side, but we still didn't have parking?
We had brake and turn signal on both sides now, but we had no parking lights.
Still no taillights, and we knew we were going to be back after dark if we did any wheeling at all.
If we did anything, just go over there, turn around, and come back. We were going to be back after dark.
Definitely need taillights.
So we need to do that. So
I feel like you could have just called me. I mean, I have a trailer.
Your trailer blows his fuse every time he hooks up to it.
And that's definitely your fault.
There's that.
There's that.
I see it works with my truck. That's what I don't get.
Oh, so you want us to come get your truck and your trailer?
Hey, it wasn't. I wasn't doing anything.
It wasn't a bad idea. We get it wired up. It turns out that the wire, somebody used a Scotch lock to go from the left side to the right side. And so, of course, it's corroded the Scotch lock. I just clipped all that, put a couple of butt connectors on it, put it back together. Now we have lights. Now we can start our journey to Indiana.
We got all the lights.
It's now noon.
Oh, yes, definitely noon. So we stopped and got gas.
So we stopped and got gas, and I bought Mike chicken tenders from, is it Chester's? No.
Churches? Chester's?
Not Churches.
I don't know. Whatever St.
What kind of gas stations called churches?
There's a place called Church's Chicken, but it's not around here, apparently. Or maybe it is.
South.
Okay.
No, if there's a Church's up here, I'd eat there all the time.
Never heard of it.
Oh, your life is incomplete.
Well, there's a lot of other reasons it's incomplete, but we don't have to have another episode.
If you had all of those pieces and didn't have Churches, your life's incomplete. So we got on the road. Everything was smooth sailing all the way to the Badlands. We get over there and we pull in, and we walk inside, and I asked the lady there at the counter. I said, "So it's like 2:30. You guys close at 5?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Can I buy a half-day pass?" And she's like, "No, we don't do half-day passes."
Which we knew.
Damn. Yeah, we knew. But it's worth
You
a shot.
gotta try.
It was worth a shot, right?
Yep.
So we pull around there, and Mike's like, "I gotta use the restroom." I was like, "Well, pull me around the back, and I'll unload it while you run off to the restroom." Okay. Pulled around back. I get the Jeep unstrapped, put the ramps down, pulled off the trailer. About this time, Derek and Matt Hayes had pulled up. In there, I go to fire it up, and it extended cranks, like 2 or 3 rotations longer than like normal, and they're like both like holding their breath, like, is it gonna start? And it fires up.
Oh boy!
Back it off the trailer, pulled over there. It's in there idling, showing them guys, a couple things about it and stuff. We're sitting there talking, load the ramps back on the trailer, that sort of thing. And I told Derek, I was like, let's air down the tires real quick while we're sitting here. He's okay. So we aired the tires down, and mid airing the tires down, the Jeep dies.
Womp womp.
Yeah. And I was like, well, see, what had happened was the computer has this issue of some sorts, and I don't know what it is, but you just walk over here and tap this computer, fire it back up, and we're good to go. Huh. He's like, oh, all right. So I tap the computer, fire it up, good to go. Go back to airing down tires. 30 seconds later, Jeep dies. I'm like, well, that's not going to last.
That's who's going to ride on the hood and tap the computer all day?
So we open the hood back up, tap the computer, fire it back up, go back to airing down. 15 seconds dies. Fire it back up. It dies. Fire it back up. It dies. And so on. And so on. So they're like, well, let's figure out what this problem is or whatever. So when it happens, when it dies, it doesn't just kill the Jeep. It kills all the power. Everything dies. The electric fan shuts off. All the ignition shuts off. Lights, everything.
So it's a main power problem.
It seems like a main problem. So I'm like, okay, main power, something in the computer causes a main power issue. But like if you touch the harness there at the computer, it seemed to kick back on. It's like, well, maybe it's not the computer, but the harness.
Bad pin or something on the plug.
Yeah. Well, I already had the plug apart and had checked out. The pins are good. So I'm like, there's something in the harness that's bad. So I start stripping the harness back looking for a ground. I stripped back about 18 inches of the harness.
Almost all of it back to the firewall.
Heading towards the firewall. Every time I'd strip back another 4 or 5 inches, I'd start messing with that part of the harness, and it'd die again. Okay, well, there's nothing in this part that's bad, so it must be further back. Another 4 or 5 inches back. Keep doing that. And eventually I'm like, what in the world? Like, what's going on here? I reach my hand down next to the brake booster. It's where all the wires goes through the firewall.
Yep.
I touch that connector, dies. Touch connector again, it comes back on.
So it's a bulkhead connector on the firewall?
Bulkhead connector on the firewall. I'm like, okay. So we get on the old Google space and figure out how to unbolt that. We get it unbolted. Look at the inside of it, and the guy's telling you how to unbolt it. He's like, yeah, this down here in this corner is usually where it corrodes at, and this is what you can expect or whatever. Pull it apart. 25 years old. Minty.
Huh.
Never been apart. Never had any water in it. It's perfect.
Where the connections meet. Where the male and female pins meet.
We pulled apart. Yeah, we pulled apart all the pins.
Nice and clean.
Black, clean, no dirt, no nothing.
It's got some goo on it, but it's not bad or anything.
The black goo that comes with it, yeah. But it's like minty. And I'm like, well, it's somewhere between here and here. and I turn it upside down and I start trying to take the cover off of it, and I see a lot of green stuff fall out of it.
Oh boy, she's raining money.
She's raining bad. Yeah, raining money. Yeah, something like that. So we pulled the there's a little cover there. I pulled it off and Mike's looking at it. He's like, I tell him, I was like, well, there's corrosion on these wires at the connectors. He's like, no, those are sealed. Those should have like seals on each wire going into there, and it should be all a sealed thing. I'm like, no, Mike, it's 1995, and that's not a thing. He's like, what? What do you mean it's not a thing?
I've never heard of that. I've never seen a non-sealed, I've never seen a non-waterproof connector harness going through a firewall or anywhere under the hood.
Yeah.
Every single one of those connectors should be waterproof.
So the wire crimps into the connector.
Yep.
And then the connector slides into the bulkhead.
Yep.
When it slides in the bulkhead, that's when it gets sealed. The connector itself is not sealed.
So the back side of the connector is the part that's going to be facing towards the engine of the Jeep.
You got it.
So the part that faces oncoming crap.
Yes.
And we're in Illinois, not Michigan,
Yes,
and they
wide
probably use
open.
salt there too, I guess. But
Yeah.
so all the road salt, debris, all that,
Everything.
right in
Moisture.
one bare connector.
The many times it's been that deep
But
in
it's
water.
okay. The plug-ins are sealed, so
Yeah, it's fine-ish.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay, great, makes sense.
I flip it around, flip it upside down, pull that connector, the back of the, just like a little cover. I pull the cover off, slide it down, and I see a lot of green around an 8-gauge red wire going in. And so I grab it, and it just wiggles freely. And I pull it out, and I'm like, uh-oh. And that was...
The end of the day.
That was the straw.
Yeah, that was it. That was
was
pretty
the
much,
stuff.
now it's like almost 4 o'clock and they close at 5. And
It was. We worked on it for about an hour. We thought we were going to solder back together, but there wasn't enough meat left on the bone.
Yep.
I toyed with the idea. I had a 8-gauge amp wire running to the back of the Jeep.
Yep.
I could have literally unzip tied that because I had a whole bundle back there. I could have unzip tied that, ran it down the rocker, and spliced back
So
in.
what time is this that you find this wire? Ballpark.
3:30 Indiana time. They
So
close
you've
at 5:30.
got-
They close at
you've
5.
got-
Hour and a
yeah.
half.
So at this point in the day, you just
can
call
get
it
it,
done.
if you can get it fixed, if you can get it fixed in 45 minutes, you got 45 minutes to go trail ride and get the numbers you need. The whole reason of this trip was to take it over there and make sure that everything I've done to it so far is on point.
Yeah.
Because if it's not on point, there's no need in going forward before making those adjustments.
Yep. I mean, I
So,
get it, but at the end
yeah.
of the day, like I don't know. You've exhausted yourself. Because at this
Everything-
point, your mind is just fucked.
I've been up since 6:30
Yeah.
at this point. I don't know about Steve, but
Yep.
Like 7:30 when you called me.
still.
So at this point, just throw on a trailer, look at it, take a picture.
But
Call it a
instead,
day.
we should drag half the tools out of Derek's truck and try to fix it.
That's what you do. It's not the logical thing to sit here and talk about it now. But
I think it was about a little after 4 o'clock. We decided, okay, we're done here.
Yep.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
that point,
We
even if
weren't
we
gonna-
got it fixed, it was going to be 5.
It was going to be 5, and the only way to fix it at that point that we could see was to cut up another piece of the harness inside the firewall and splice into that. And I'm like, I'm not going to destroy the good part of the harness just so I can get 30 minutes.
Yeah,
before
just a trail fix.
like I'll just bring
Yep.
it back. Yeah.
Yep.
Be different if you're like on the trail somewhere you needed to get out. But we didn't. Just winch it back on the trailer and call it a day.
Yep.
So that's what we did. We got everything lined up. Derek brought his truck over and put the winch on it, and Matt Hayes steered it while I went up in there because I went back up to the office, and I walked in the office and I looked at the girl. I'm like, so can I get a refund if it never left the parking lot?
What's the refund policy? They're like, oh, just because your shit is junk, that doesn't mean that we are going to give you money back.
The refund policy is definitely no refunds.
No
but,
refunds.
Yeah.
we were hoping for maybe, a Hail Mary. Because
Doesn't hurt to ask.
obviously,
Yep.
he's like, hey,
So-
remember me from half an hour ago? Like,
That was like an hour ago.
that's true, that's true.
But either way, I walked back in there and asked her, and she's like, oh no, you didn't get it fixed. And I was like, no. She's like, hold on. She walks back in the office, brings me out with those little voucher business cards,
Yep.
writes my name on it, writes the date on it. She's like, here you go. Thank you,
got-
back in the
You
bar.
got a pity pass.
Yeah, I got
I'd take that shit to
pity
the
pass.
bank. Take it to
Take
the
that
bank.
pity pass.
Yep.
I was happy to have it.
Awesome.
So,
So all in all, I mean, it may not have been the most like successful shakedown run in the parking lot.
It may not have been the most successful. That's the best way you could possibly
I
put
was
that.
trying to
I mean,
be.
like,
I was trying to be sensitive about it. I was trying to be nice
it
and
may not
sensitive.
have been the most successful. Or
I mean, that's
not at
debatable,
all.
though. It might have been the most successful. That's the way you set it up. It might
Yeah.
not have been.
Might
but it
not
might
have
have been, too.
Might have been.
But it might have been.
It might have
Yeah.
been pretty successful.
It did make it out of the shop and onto
Yeah.
the trailer.
It made it all the way
See?
to the park and into the parking lot.
And you did find out what it was other than a $300 PCM made of unobtainium.
Yep. Well, see now, okay, I can just say I put the Toyota on the trailer with like, I don't know, a couple inches of backlash in the front end, and it was one of those like, you're not gonna fix that in the middle of the night, so we just fuck it, we threw it on the trailer and just beat shit out of it. With
the teeth are A, engaging, or B, not engaging.
Man, it was
at
about
the same time.
It was about a quarter turn. The spec was about a quarter turn.
Yeah, a quarter turn. I mean, as long as they're engaging, it should be fine.
my God.
Right?
It didn't
Would you
last
use,
long.
like, was it like 410 ring gear with a 513 opinion?
I didn't realize the carrier brake on that was I think it was a 410 carrier brake, so I had the wrong carrier with the different gears on it. We slapped the gears in, and
Why did you point at me when you did it?
I was just more of emotion.
I was going to say, don't blame me for that.
Nope.
It had a 391 carrier and 410 ring gear on it.
Yeah.
Yep. So
There's a shit you learn at the last moment. That's one of those. That's why I said I was like, I have never had any good luck trying to slam shit together. That's why I have no deadline for the buggy. It'll get done sometime in probably not even in my lifetime. I don't know.
Good thing you don't have a deadline for it because you've been working on it.
Not getting progress made. That's for sure. But
So,
either way, you got it to the trail.
I got my refund. Yeah.
She got to the trail, and you got a pity pass, and you're gonna bank that all the way to the done.
To wrap this story up, Derek and the boys winched it back on the trailer, which I posted a photo of that. You guys can see it there. Now that when this comes out, I'll post the video of it.
The video.
There's a video, it's about a minute long video of it getting pulled back up on the trailer. And then, what else is there? To wrap this story up, we just threw it back on the trailer, tugged it home.
we had a beer when we got there to
We pushed
celebrate.
it. Yeah, we pushed it off the trailer. Mike's like, "How can we get this off the trailer?" So we're gonna push it.
Push it. Send
And
it.
we did. We pushed it off the trailer, and I just let it roll until it got to where I wanted it to stop, and stopped it there, threw it in parks, and give it the big middle finger. And
Looks
walked off.
good. We'll see you later. Have a good. Thanks for coming.
It lives at my house now.
It does.
Guys, it's going to be there forever.
That's your yard ornament.
New flower pot for you. New flower pot.
It's in the wrong location. You're gonna have to lawnmower out and pull that
That's a
thing
good
around.
point.
We can put it where we want to.
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
So either way, I mean, it's hard to consider it a win at the time, but to be honest, there's a lot of shit you got done to that, and I mean, it's not the stuff you got done. You didn't cut corners to get it done. That's the nice thing. There was no sacrifice of quality of work to get the stuff done
In the time.
in the time frame.
Yeah.
It may have been bust your ass every day, all night long, sick, but there was no quality cut, and that's the key. And
That's what somebody was saying. Like, well, don't cut corners to. I don't remember who it was. Who was telling me that. Derek, maybe. Maybe it was one of you
Probably. It
guys.
sounds like something Derek would
One of
say.
you guys was. Somebody was telling me, don't cut corners just to have it done by that date. I'm like, I'm not cutting corners. Like,
Yep.
I'm just doing what I was like. In all reality, the only thing I need to do before it needs to go is paint everything so it doesn't rust.
Yep.
I was like, but I prefer to have the back end sealed so I don't have mud everywhere.
Yep.
And so, like, I got everything's done. Like, it's sealed. I'm so happy, like, to have the sheet metal done, the rear.
Oh, yeah, that was a big undertaking.
Oh yeah, and it looked great. It looks absolutely.
It wasn't
great.
a nightmare, but, like, wrapping my brain around trying to make all that work
Yep.
was pretty tough. The two back corners, the taillight buckets, like the interior back of the wheel well, one of those is one piece. The passenger side, that's one piece that slides in from the corner. Like, it was...
You'll have to post some pictures of it because I mean, you don't get the idea until you see it because you think, oh, well, a piece of sheet metal, cool. But until you see the angles, it's impressive.
It's broke in several different angles, and it didn't fit. I got it all broke when it slid in there. Couldn't get it in.
Yep.
Like, I had to cut some stuff off and then, like, kind of tap it in with a hammer to get it to finally slide into play. Once it slid in there,
in play.
yeah, once it slid in there, it was all good. But yeah, there was a lot to that. But I'm very glad to have that done. I'm glad that we've diagnosed the wiring issue. Now we know. I'm gonna go to the junkyard and snag a new bulkhead harness, go into the firewall.
Are you getting? So you're just replacing the whole harness. You're not going to like repin that one wire.
Okay, so
The whole harness snakes like all in and out of the firewall, all around the engine compartment. It could be a
that's what
nightmare
I mean.
trying to find one
down
of
to the
those.
transmission. I'm gonna go look because if I can get the whole harness and I can figure out how it comes apart, and if it's not that bad, I'll put a whole new harness in it.
I mean, that'd be the way to go if you
That's
could do it.
yeah.
If you can do it.
That's the right way.
It will depend on whether or not it's a good harness that I find that has no brakes, no nothing, looks like it just came from the factory.
Yep.
Like,
Find that around here.
gonna find that one.
Yeah, you're going to find that in Illinois.
Oh, look at this. This is Grandma's Jeep Cherokee that's been in the garage its entire life. Yeah.
Find the XJ that's
Minty
never
fresh.
been off-road.
A 95 at that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I can use a 96 harness.
Have you looked to see if like you could find a repop new harness somewhere? I don't know if that's a thing or
painless or something. Maybe
I don't know. I mean, as popular as it is, you would think somebody
would make a harness. Hey, if you listeners out there know where I can get a engine bay harness for a Cherokee for an XJ, 95 XJ, 4-liter, 4-wheel drive, automatic transmission, you let me know.
It might be a thing. I mean, you're not talking about some odd
Somebody
vehicle.
might know.
One of the most common off-road vehicles. I would think somebody has something.
Yeah, but
especially with the known issue with the corrosion right there. It's not a sealed harness.
There's a small problem here. It's not a Wrangler.
No,
yeah.
It's a shitbox Cherokee. When you get done with it, you throw it away.
You junk it and post the video on Beat Not Baby.
Unless you're an idiot like me, you just rebuild it time and time again.
It looks great.
You can't be the only one.
Yep.
I'm not.
Nope. Ride height. It came out nice ride height wise. That looks good. Yeah,
we're close. It's like 22 in the back, 21 in the front. At the frame, right before the frame tips up on either end of the doors. That's pretty close to where I want to be. I think I want to be down at 21 in the rear, and I also want to be on 40s.
40s.
So once I get the 40s under it, I need to figure out how to lower it some more.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, that's pending, because if I go 4-wheel and I don't like that, if I go 4-wheel and I drag the belly on everything, then I don't want that.
Exactly.
So I'll have to
never know till you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice thing is you got the pass. I mean, that's the part that I take out of it is it. I mean, it costs you money to go there, but you got a free day of wheeling essentially. You could have got screwed.
It's free.
Hey,
free. We definitely didn't spend any money that day at all.
You could have came out with a sorry.
Yeah.
At least save you what, $25.
$25. Yeah.
So I mean,
no, they're good people over there.
Take the wins when you can.
Yeah. Right? No, they've always taken good care of me, and they understand. And she just saw us come in an hour before that. She knew. I was like, I never left the parking lot. She's like, oh, that's the worst day ever.
You can't fake those eyes. You had the sad eyes when you walked in, and you cannot fake the sad eyes of my shit is broke.
Tail between his legs and all.
Yep. Been there and done that. You can't fake it.
Have you got any whiskey behind there?
Yeah. We'll pay extra for alcohol.
We did have a barrel-aged beer once we got back. What did I open up? Was it a second breakfast?
Second breakfast.
It's a very delicious Little Beaver and Triptych collaboration. Barrel-aged barley wine.
You ever been to Little Beaver Brewing Company over there in Bloomington?
I've not.
We went one time. We were over there in town one time. That is a cool little... When you say small couple guys brewery, that's what I picture in my mind. It is small. It is cool. They don't try to make it something it's not. It's pretty awesome. Cool little tap room. Good beer.
Small like 25 o'clock? Or have you been to 25 o'clock yet?
I don't think I've been to 25 o'clock either.
Okay.
That's even worse because that's here in town. But it's small, but it's nothing fancy. It's literally you go, you can see the freezer and the stuff in the back. It's cool.
We should take a trip over there sometime.
I'm down.
They do food or just beer?
I do believe they do the same kind of like Triptych does when they do food trucks.
Okay.
I know they do a couple food trucks. Usually they have anytime on Facebook you see food trucks and stuff from over that area because they don't have their own kitchen.
Sure.
But yeah, it was good.
That's good.
Cool.
So that was the first for us.
So that's your trip.
Yep, that was our not trip.
I'm gonna give it a B.
Mike said it was a good day.
Did you say I'm gonna give it a B?
I'm gonna give it a B. It's not a B plus. It's not an A. It's a B.
What would have been a B plus? Roll the trailer on the way over there. Didn't find the electrical issue.
One less trailer wiring issue would have got you a B plus.
One less
trailer.
I think we should have got a B plus. We had one more trailer wire.
Yeah, I think this rating system's backwards.
I'm trying to be honest
here. I had too many issues to get an A.
Kinda.
I'm not sure your rating system is correct. It's like you need to reevaluate it.
It's partially my podcast. I'll rate you how I want to. Okay. Overall, I consider it a win. Regardless of
it was a win.
You did a lot of good work on that Jeep. Like all the stuff that you did get done is done right and awesome, and all that you don't have to worry about now. It's just a matter of getting it running now, and you know what's wrong, so that's a win too.
The worst part.
What's that?
Let me get up on the microphone.
Oh my god!
Are you ready to go 4-wheeling in it?
So ready.
Oh my god.
I was so ready. All the first, I was like, oh my god, we're going to be wheeling for 30 minutes. This is going to be the best 30 minutes ever. And then,
hey, that's what you want. You want ride or die. He's going to ride with his sack lunch at 3 o'clock for a half hour. Didn't give a shit. He was there for you, man.
We did eat those sack lunches too. We got back to my house. We opened up a barrel-aged beer and we ate those sack lunches.
Now you're in a B plus. Now you're in a B plus. Yes.
That's how you end that day.
Awesome.
Mike, what do you do with that? What do you do with that bologna sandwich?
I'm gonna eat that bologna sandwich with some bourbon barrel beer. Hell yes.
He's like, well, I can't eat 2 of them. I'm like, well, hand it over.
Cool. So that's probably about all we got for this episode.
We got more, but I need to get moving.
We got stuff to do. Yeah, tell them where they can find some content.
All right, you guys can find us on YouTube at Total Off-Road Podcast on YouTube. You can find Ian at Offroad_Ian. You can find me, Steve, at low_KEE_XJ. And you can find the producer, Mike So Funny. This is the Total Off-Road Podcast, and we'll catch you guys on the trail.